That's a pucker track, isn't it? That's an established speedway track. You ride in the Polish League. What are your thoughts on that? What do you feel your chances are?
It's going to be good. I know all the boys are pretty pleased that we go into a track that's purpose-built for speedway. It's not a one-off track, so it holds up better. We know what to expect. We're going there and we've got an idea of the whole thing already, so we're looking forward to it. It is a great track, great racing track, and you know, it's a tough event.
All right, well, thanks very much, Ryan.
Thanks,
Best
Ryan.
of luck,
Cheers,
of course, in that next one in Poland. But Jana Maraby's got John Cook. Let's find out what the latest is with him.
Yeah, what's the score with him? He's obviously got a groin injury, we've heard.
Yeah, he's just hit a lump on the track and it's just pulled his leg back, and there's no way he'll ride again tonight. So it's a great shame for Steph, particularly because he got his World Championship round on Friday as well. So couldn't come at a worse time for Steph, and you know, not particularly good timing for us, although perhaps he weren't having his best night. So.
Okay, so obviously you're going to operate a rider replacement kind of scheme with using your reserves.
Yeah, well, yeah, the reserves will probably come in if we're, you know, less than 6 points down. If not, we'll probably look at tactical in there, but it might change our strategy for Heat 8 if we don't get anything out of this next ride. So we've got to do a bit of scratching of heads now, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Back to the commentary team.
Well, we're here in time for heat number 7, and what John Cook was saying there was that they are 6 points behind, and remember, of course, if a team is 6 points behind, it can use a tactical substitution. He looks at heat 8, where perhaps we could see Joe Screen or Mark Laram coming in as a tactical substitute to try and pull back the points deficit. Remember, they can use a golden tactical, as they call it, if they're 8 points or more behind, but I don't think we'll see that just yet. That man in yellow there for heat number 7 is Dean Barker. Dean Barker showed disappointing so far tonight, just the 3rd place in his only outing so far. Joe Screen, his teammate and partner in green. Peter Protasevich goes in this one, a heat winner, only time out. There is Protasevich. He'll be at Bydgoszcz in all the action we bring to you for the Polish Grand Prix this Saturday from 6 on Sky Sports. There is the man, Peter Protasevich, a wild card at Bydgoszcz, where he feels very much at home, I'm sure. Yellow and black trailing around at the start. There is Dean Barker, the Eastbourne rider. Eastbourne number 4, Dean Barker. A man who's only 2nd behind David Norris and Martin Dugard in record appearances for Eastbourne. That's Dean Barker in yellow. His teammate and partner already up at tapes is Joe Screen in green. And we're waiting for Chris Harris to come up, the 2nd Peterborough. And Joe Screen on the inside. Well, a captain's performance we get in football sometimes, notably Roy Keane. Joe Screen come from the same part of the world, up near Manchester. Can he produce that for Eastbourne? He goes on the inside in green. Gate 2, Peter Protasevich in red for Peterborough. Gate 3 for Eastbourne is Dean Barker. On the outside, 19-year-old Chris Harris, the lad from Cornwall. And, well, Joe can do it from the inside gate here, Scott Conning.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. I think the emphasis now for Eastbourne is going to be, the pressure's going to be on Joe and Mark to pull some points out now. And with Joe off the inside, I think you'll find he'll probably be chasing the dirt straight away to try and stop Protasevich from coming around him, which will either enable the others to get in the dirt and possibly trail around, or have to make a cut back and get up the inside. I
was talking to John Cook earlier on, and he said, well, they've had a flying start of the season, Eastbourne. Now, if they win their home meetings and get the bonus points over 2 legs of each of them, well, they'll be sailing away perhaps towards that title. One way, mathematically, of looking at it. And Scott Nichols, you're up against Eastbourne tomorrow night. Looks to be a weakened Eastbourne side, I think, without Stephen Anderson and Tony Spark struggling. That's at Vauxhall Heath, and certainly Scott will be doing his best before he departs for Poland at the weekend. Here tonight, though, at the East of England Showground, a 6-point lead for the home team, Peterborough. Our starting marshal gets ready to set them away on the green line. The way to go on the inside, a real flyer from Joe Screen in 2nd place in red. Protasevich, he's got a battle now, picks up grip. Joe Screen is past there, but comes back well to close the gate on Protasevich. A battle in 3rd place in blue there. Chris Harris, Dean Barker on the inside in yellow. But look at these two out front. A flyer from Protasevich. Now Screen goes wide and tries to pick up grip and speed, but Protasevich has probably stolen a mark on Joe, and Joe will now have to battle here. But at the back, Dean Barker's come through into 3rd place. Screen looking for him, perhaps given up on the chase of the man in front, because Protasevich is flying.
Yeah, I think Joe made a slight mistake on the first turn by hugging the inside very tight, and you can see Protasevich has built up a massive lead now. He's out right in the dirt, catching some bits of grip, but they're just pulling him further in front.
into the final lap. Peter Protasevich, the pole, but Peterborough in front. Joe Screen for Eastbourne, trading in second place, but they get a share of the points. They'll still be 6 behind. It will open up the opportunity of a tactical substitution. I'll have a little bet on that, but in red there, Protasevich wins it ahead of Screen in green. Third place goes to Dean Barker in yellow. Eastbourne get a share of the points at 3-all. It's 24-18 with 7 heats gone. A tactical substitution or even a double perhaps for Eastbourne in heat 8 to try and pull something back. But no doubt about the quality. Peter Protasevich, his second successive heat victory of the night. 2 wins, 2 rides for Peter Protasevich, putting him in pole position. There I use the pun for the Polish Grand Prix in Bydgoszcz. Totally unintended there, but what a ride by Peter Protasevich, and the Peterborough fans delighted with that as he finished ahead of Joe Screen and Dean Barker. 3-all the heat score. Peterborough 24, Eastbourne 18. Heat 7 gone.
Yeah, Joe made an absolute flying start off the inside. He had a good lead going into the first turn, but he just got his front wheel over the grass. Possibly should have moved that to dirt. Protasevich is right in the dirt. He's got his wheels in line, and he didn't quite get through. He got a bit of a wobble there, but he's on the dirt line, and he's just going all the way around the outside. He looks very settled around here now. It seems to be riding like one of his Polish tracks, and Joe can do nothing about that. And once Protasevich got in front, he just streaked away, and just at the back, Dean just managed to sneak through there for a vital third.
Well, 7 heats gone in this classic Elite League encounter. Peterborough leading by 6 points. Eastbourne can use a tactical substitute very soon. With 8 heats to go, anything can happen. Tactics could be vitally important. The fans certainly enjoying the action here at the East of England Showground. Plenty more to come from us after the break.
F1 Digital Plus, interactive racing only on Sky Digital, taking you to the heart of the action. 8 screens to choose from. Follow the race exactly the way you want to, giving you the big race experience. The Monaco Grand Prix on F1 Digital Plus. This week, 3 days live and uninterrupted for just £12. Call 08702 418 111 or see channel 434.
What if everything was as strong and as durable as a Hyundai? A high-strength unibody construction makes every Hyundai as strong and as durable as the new Santa Fe. Hyundai, prepare to want one.
What is this fabric? It's incredible.
Cahoots.
Today's my lucky day, a royal flush.
Hey, not so fast. Kahoot.
The kid's got Kahoot.
Kid's got Kahoot.
What do you want, Echo?
An Echo. For an incredible rate of 8% typical APR on a flexible loan of £1,000 to £15,000, visit Kahoot.com. Like banking, only different.
What are you laughing at? The kid's got Kahoot.
Welcome back. It's sundown at the showground, and Peterborough at the moment have 24 to Eastbourne's 18 after 7 heats. Eastbourne, remember, the league leaders. They've got some work to do in order to come back into this one. Now, there's plenty of other meetings going on around the league at the moment tonight, and as you see there, Kings Lynn struggling just down the road from here, 5 to Coventry B's 19. So Kings Lynn, at bottom of the league at the moment, they've got some work to do. Oxford Cheetahs, as you saw there, 23 up at the moment on
That's
their
quite
match.
an amazing score.
Really? Why?
Well, Kings Lynn 5,
that one,
Coventry
yeah.
9. That's a massacre going on there. I don't quite know what's going on at Kings Lynn, but that does seem rather an odd scoreline.
Now, let's talk about this matchup.
Sure,
Obviously, Eastbourne now have got to react. They've had their problems. They're going to try something, I'm sure, tactically. One thing that is an advantage...
We're going to see Mark Loram going out in this race.
I wanted to mention Mark Loram. He is coming out in this one. He just said to me, well, the sun's gone, that's one thing. And he said, but the track's really hard to set up for. He's trying out bikes, he's trying out different engines, but the track is just all over the place, especially at turn 4.
Sure, it is. And we've seen Hans Clausen fall off there already. The sun is a factor there, but there's also some inconsistencies in the track. I think the problem they've got, the guys, we're actually seeing Mark Loram on screen at the moment on his spare bike. I think he wants to see if he can get off the start a bit better with it. But the base of the track, Jonathan, is so hard, and we've got the loose material, which has also gone like ball bearings. And it does seem to be difficult to find the little bit of extra to make any ground on the guys once they settle down after the first lap. But I'm sure Mark feels that, or is hoping that this spare bike of his will get him off the start a bit better so he can get a heat win.
Well, Norrie Allen has had his work cut out tonight. They're working around the clock. Mark Loram, a brand new bike out there for the first time. Let's join Scotty and Tony to pick up the action.
Heat number 8, as predicted, the tactical substitution. Mark Loram, the former world champion, on a bike that's never been on the track before. Mark Loram taking a chance here. And of course, the men that are with him. Tony Sfarb is the man in green for Eastbourne. See him there in gate 3. Let's look at the lineup right across the tapes. Loram goes on the inside in yellow and going pretty wide. Gate 2 for Peterborough, Magnus Zetterstrom. Zetterstrom, of course, 2 second places so far tonight. Gate 3 is Tony Sfarb. In green on the outside, in red is Shane Parker. And Mark Loram going from gate 1, but going from a very, very wide gate run to try and miss a little bit of water on the track. You can see in front of him there. That is Mark Loram in yellow. Our referee tonight is Mick Bates. Just informed us that Stefan Anderson has officially pulled out of the meeting, which means that Eastbourne have to make up for his absence either through a tactical substitution if they're a little bit behind, or through a reserve replacement. Their reserves, of course, are Honors Clouting and David Norris. Can Mark do it here, Scott, to close the gap?
Yeah, I'm sure he can. I'm pretty sure Mark will be going straight for the dirt as long as he doesn't impede Tony and has a look for him, lets him come round, then hopefully they can try and pull something back.
Away goes our starting marshal. Mark does make it from the gate. A real battle here. He goes quite wide, takes the rest of the field with him. Coming through on the inside, his teammate Tony Sfarb. Eastbourne 1 and 2. The challenge from Magnus Zetterstrom. If it works like this, they really would have closed the gap. Into the fence, and the back goes the man in blue, Magnus Zetterstrom, who broke a leg a couple of years ago here. Our referee will probably have to stop this with Zetterstrom down on the track. A real disappointment for Eastbourne here, but I'm sure that Zetterstrom will be the man excluded. The referee has officially excluded Magnus Zetterstrom as the prime cause of the stoppage. There'll be a restart with just 3 riders, 2 from Eastbourne, Mark Loram, the technical substitution, and Tony Sfarb along with Shane Parker. And disappointment there for Magnus Zetterstrom. He overcooked it on the corner, but physically well. The bike is shade sick, I'm sure, and the race officially stopped by our referee, Mick Bates. The only decision he could make there, Scott?
Yeah, it was, you know, the first turn worked perfect for the Eastbourne boys there. Magnus was just having a good try on the outside, and it looked as though he got in the dirt, and the dirt just sucked him in, and he sadly ran out of room. You can see here he's right up on the fence. Tony's moved over just to block him, and Magnus has gone in there. You can see the dirt just pulled him into the fence, and he's just basically ran out of room and hit the fence. And luckily and thankfully, Magnus is okay. It could have been nasty. You can see here again, he's going in, his leg is already back, just long track style as it is, and goes in, dirt's just pulled him in deeper and deeper, and could do nothing, hit the fence, and sadly that fence is not going to give.
Chance to look at it from the start, where Eastbourne, for them, it was perfect.
Yeah, Mark didn't make a brilliant start, but he managed to, like I said, he moved Magnus over into the dirt, which Tony made a perfect start there, cut him back up the inside, and they roared away to a 5-1. Mark just gives him a look, and they looked as though they were going to be set and dry there, so hopefully for their sake they can do that again in the rerun, just take care of Shane off the outside.
It is interesting tactically, because it'll mean in Heat 9 that Eastbourne will have to go with 2 reserves. Stefan Anderson is out. If they close the gap, they can't use a tactical, and it means that Savalas Clouting and David Norris will go in that. But the lads in the studio, I'm sure, have more news for us. Kelvin and Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. And it's interesting, obviously, Eastbourne now have an excellent chance now of getting back into this one.
Certainly do. Mark Loram looked really good on that spare bike of his, or the brand new bike, rather.
Didn't look like a new bike, did it?
Well, it would certainly hit the front, and he would have been happy with that. And Tony Sfarb seems to be settling down after that sort of indifferent first ride. I think he probably actually had mechanical problems. So
well, just heard that Zetterstrom is with James, so let's find out what the latest is from him.
Okay. Yeah, we've been listening to Tony and Scotty telling us what they thought happened. How is it from your point of view?
No, I just went a little bit too wide and hit the dirt, and off I went.
Are you hurt at all?
No, I'm just angry on myself.
And the bike's fine as well?
Yeah, I hope so. They will be all right. It wasn't bad fall off, you know, so I think it'd be all right.
Was it the dirt that sucked you into the corner?
Yeah, I went a little bit too wide, and actually, if I had keep the throttle on, I think I had made it. So.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Simple as that, you say. Thanks very much. Back to you, Kelvin and Jonathan.
Thanks, Jane. Yeah, well, it was simple as that. He knows exactly what went wrong. He's angry at himself.
Yeah.
But in terms of this track, it's been catching a lot of people out. I keep saying it, but what would you do in this circumstances? You've got to go right. You've got to ride around that corner. There's nothing you can do.
Exactly. You've got to try and make the power on the bike as smooth as possible. We've got big wide corners, as we can see here, looking down on the track, and some of the track is grippy and some of it's slick, and the bike's tending to snatch at you as you go round. And I was talking to Ryan Sullivan there while we were watching a race, and he said that he's pulling a very long gear to try and smooth the bike out as much as possible so that it doesn't react too quickly when you go through the different surfaces. But I think probably what's happened, Jonathan, is they've been caught out by this stiff breeze that we've got here this evening, and the track's dried a little bit quicker than they expected.
Actually, Magnus has given them another problem because they were headed for a 5-1. They've got to get a 5-1 here, so they've got to team ride here.
Well, Eastbourne has. Yeah, certainly have. Yeah, if they want to get back in the match quickly and utilise Mark Loram, so a 5-1 would be very useful indeed. But Mark's a class act. I'm sure he's capable of bouncing back and doing it again.
Scott Nichols, Tony Millard, your thoughts?
Our thoughts for Heat 8, hopefully for Eastbourne, with using that tactical substitute. If they win 5-1 and retain Shane Parker in third place, well, then they would close the gap to just 2, and David Norris will come out in the next heat alongside Savalas Clouty. Interesting, Scott, to hear the lads talking about space on the track. World Cup, the last 2 rounds are here with 5 riders per heat in here. It's going to be tight, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be very tight. I'm sitting here now and it looks tight at 4. It still looks tight at 3, so what it's going to be like at 5 is anyone's guess.
You will hope to be one of those 5, I'm sure. It will be tight. This is heat number 8. Away goes our starting marshal, Mark Loram, rears a little bit. Tony Sparb goes wide, and Shane Parker comes through, but Eastbourne still have 1 and 2. Parker, though, is trying to split them. This isn't really the team riding we thought. Mark Loram will try and close the gate, and it does. A brilliant piece of team riding by Mark Loram, but look at Parker coming back, almost outwitting him, and now work to be done by Tony Sparb. Mark Loram had it just about right. Sparb didn't take the advantage. Parker came through to split them. Loram, Parker, Sparb in that order. Tactics abounding.
Yeah, Mark was lucky there. He almost was caught out by Shane. It's a brilliant ride by Shane, and Shane certainly hasn't given up, but Mark really now has just got to get his head down and go. A 4-2 here is better than a 3-all, so he's getting his head down, he's out in the dirt and racing away, but he's not pulling away from Shane, and that new bike's still looking good.
Well, happy on the bike, but not happy with his partner, Tony Sparb, because the chance was there of a 5-1. Now it'll be 4-2. It won't close the gap as much as it does, or could have done, but it will prevent them using a tactical sub in the next heat. Mark Loram on an unused machine in yellow takes the checkered flag now. Great ride by Shane Parker in red. The Peterborough fans will love that. And disappointment for Tony Sparb at the rear in green. That's a heat advantage by 4 points to 2 to Eastbourne, their 3rd heat advantage of the night. And now it's 26-22 in favour of Peterborough. No tactical substitutions will be permitted in Heat 9. It means Eastbourne will go with 2 reserves. 26-22 the margin, all to race for here, but Mark Loram the tactical substitute, winning that ahead of Shane Parker of Peterborough and Loram's teammate Tony Sparb for a 4-2. 26-22 on aggregate with 7 to go.
It all looked like they had it wrapped up on the first turn. Mark has already had an early look. They knew what they had to do, and look, Tony was on the outside in the dirt. Looked like he was in the perfect line, but Shane has just cut straight back up the inside, and he's almost caught Mark there. Mark done very well actually to get across Shane and to block him. He did his best. Tony's on the outside having a real good battle as gets tight on that bottom bend. Mark's having a look, and Shane hit a bit of fortunate grip there, which pushed him through into 2nd place. And sadly, they couldn't get the 5-1 they were looking for there.
Well, the Aussie Shane Parker did a wonderful job there for Peterborough to split the Eastbourne pairing, and now he's made his way to our studio.
Yeah, he's split between others at the moment, but a gutsy ride there, Shane. Good on you, well done.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit hard the first race. We were had a 5-1 against us, so to get a second out of that, we were pretty lucky, really.
Second chance.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the way I looked at it, you know. Obviously, Mark made a good start then. I tried to sneak up the inside of him coming into the 3rd corner, but I think he had a bit of a look and realised I was there and shut the door on me, and You know, it was a good race. I mean, I'm on the pace. I was with him, so I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah, you were on the pace. He didn't get away from you. You actually, if anything, you caught him up. But earlier in the race, as you came out of that fourth corner, you just lifted there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it actually might have done you a bit of favour because it sort of pushed you past
I
Tony
think it probably
Swart.
helped. I think Tony probably sort of knocked it on the head a little bit, you know. I didn't know how much I was going to pick up or move out. And
you saw a crazy Aussie coming at him.
I did, mate. He did, sorry.
Shane, last time you guys were together, we went to the last heat. Do you think it's going to go the same way this time?
It's quite possible. I think it's going to be a close match. Obviously, we've got Pepe, who's just come back from a broken foot. Hans has just come back from injury, and we've also got Magnus in now. So, you know, it's been a few guys that haven't had many meetings of late, and Eastbourne are a very good team, so it's going to go to the wire, I think.
All right, we'll let you get back to the pits. Best of luck. Well done again. Let's get back to the action once again with Scott and Tony.
We promised you an epic encounter, one of the best we've presented to you this season. Remember the Grand Prix in Poland coming up on Saturday, but here it's Elite League action, just 4 points separating the team that are fourth in the league. That's Peterborough, the home side, who wear the red and the blue helmet colours throughout, and in green and yellow and black is the Eastbourne pairing, who have their reserves here. And we need a good ride from David Norris of Eastbourne to close this gap. Norris goes on the inside. The Peterborough Sam Taysar goes in gate 2. 29-19 to Oxford after 8 heats. One of the matches taking place tonight. The man in gate 3 here in this heat is Savalas, clouting in yellow, turning around and going back from tapes on the outside in red there. Hans Clausen, the current Danish champion. A retirement and a last place from the unfortunate Hans so far for Peterborough tonight.
The inside gates look like they're gate 1 and 3 look like they seem to be the favourable ones at the moment, and if David and Savalas can get their communication worked out going into the first turn here, they know what they've got to do, so it's just a case of getting out the start. But Sam off gate 2 is a fast starter, so it could be tricky for him.
Well, that's the job of David Norris on the inside. He's going pretty wide from gate 1 there. He will have to force Sam Taysar wide and Eastbourne a chance, give an opportunity to Savalas clouting. Away they go. Norris has the start he wants. Taysar lifts and Norris is in front here, but Taysar cuts back on the inside. Norris keeps the pace, but look at that man on the outside, Hans Clausen, who goes round the field from last to first. A fabulous ride by the Danish champion, hugging the inside of Savalas, clouting, moving now into third place, but it's Peterborough 1 and 2. The battle is on for Savalas clouting to try and come through there, but Hans Clausen has stolen a march and stolen about 15 metres out front to pick up the lead at the halfway stage, but into second place goes Savalas clouting. The match is alive.
Yeah, those are brilliant rides from Savalas there, just sneaking around the inside. Hans has got a perfect ride out in front on the outside, but Savalas is in second, doing a good job there, getting all the points they need. It's a shame David at the back is struggling to get past, but Sam is trying everything in third there to try and catch up with Savalas, but
into the last lap we go. If it stays like this, it'll be 4-2. It'll again be a 6-point margin, and Ipswich would open up, or rather Eastbourne would have the opportunity of a tactical substitute. Failure at the back, but David Norris is opted out for the heat 1 in red here by Hans Clausen, ahead of in yellow. Second place for Eastbourne, Savalas clouting, a great ride by him. Third place in blue goes to Sam Taysar, which is a 4-2 margin indeed for the home side, who now lead by 30 points to 24. And the chance of a tactical substitute for Eastbourne in heat number 10, should they wish. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll keep it back. Hans Clausen, the winner, ahead of Savalas clouting and Sam Taysar. And Peterborough now lead by 6 points at 30-24. With 9 heats gone, with 6 to go. Plenty to come.
it seems there's a definite pattern going off the inside gates here. Sam Taysar off gate 2 has just cut back up the inside of David Norris there and made a good first turn, but everyone seems to have forgotten about Hans Clausen on the outside. He's just snuck right round the outside there, and that's just a perfect ride from him. And looks like Eastbourne, Peterborough, are on for a 5-1 here, but Savalas Clausen's just sneaking around the inside here, and he seems to be doing good. He's coming up the inside, just sneaking around the inside. Sam, I think, is not aware of him, and Savalas has just got up the inside. You can see here he's on the inside of Sam. Just moves over, he's got his leg off, trying to get all the traction he can, and Sam's tried his best to drop it on Savalas in the third and fourth turn there, but he just drifted off the line, and Savalas has come through for a perfect second place.
Well, indeed, it's now a 6-point margin at 30-24 as we move on now to heat number 10. That man in yellow is Dean Barker. Coming out in red is Ryan Sullivan with an immaculate record so far in the red helmet colours. His teammate and partner, Shane Parker, the man who did the business to split the Eastbourne pairing in the previous ride, which meant that the home team Peterborough kept their advantage, that albeit narrow advantage, but it's now 6 points. The man in green there, Joe Screen. Joe, of course, racing with a first place and a second place so far, and tipped to be one of 2 British wildcards in the British Grand Prix at the Millennium Stadium. And we look forward to him competing against the world best. I know he believed that he should have been in there in the first place. We have to wait for the official announcement through Benfield Sports International. They, of course, the Grand Prix rights holders and promoters. This, though, is Elite League action. The Sky Sports Elite League here for heat number 10. The man in green there is Joe Screen. A chance to look across the tapes to see Dean Barker on the inside in yellow. It's Shane Parker in blue for Peterborough, gate 2. Gate 3 for Eastbourne, Joe Screen, and on the outside, Ryan Sullivan. And quite a battle here. Can Joe Screen, Scott, provide a defeat for Ryan Sullivan, who's going from the outside gate?
Well, it's going to be very tough. I'd say Ryan has got perfect form at the moment, and if only option Joe has got is to get in front of Ryan in the first turn and block his move, because I'm sure you'll see Ryan, if he's got the space, doing copycat move of Hans Clausen in that last race, just right out on the white, on the outside in the dirt as deep as possible, and just get the line for the back straight.
How big is the home advantage on this track?
It's, when you've been here for a period of time, Peterborough is one of those tricky tracks. I know myself, I can come here and you can go out and you can win a race by a mile, but then you can also in your next race go out and run a bad last. So there is a home track advantage, but it's not an easy track to adopt to, and for the away riders it is quite a task.
Well, the home team here, Peterborough, leading by 6 points at 30-24 with 9 heats gone. Our Starling Marshall gets them lined up. McQuates is our referee. Outside, the tapes go completely wrong here. The referee will have to restart that because Ryan Sullivan couldn't make it. Eastbourne would have been delighted had he been held back by the tapes, but I'm afraid that will be a restart. The magnets failing on the outside. The tapes failing to go up. McBates, a look of despair on the face of our referee there. And also, well, big attention needed by the track staff to put that right. And a new set of tapes perhaps in prospect to greet Ryan Sullivan, Shane Parker, Joe Screen and Dean Barker. Chance to see it again here.
Yeah, Ryan's he's done well to get the clutch back in time there. He could have been quite nasty. I think Eastbourne would quite like the tapes to only go up on one side. It might help their cause at the moment. Joe has managed just to duck his hand under him, and the other 2 have gone off, so hopefully they can get those sorted out.
Ryan stopped there. Joe Screen almost decapitated, I think, by what was left of the tapes as he came through, but Joe, calm, cool and collected, back at the pits there, getting attention to his machinery, and we'll wait for the restart of heat number 10. Remember, it's a 15-heat meeting. Nominated riders for heat 15. Until then, the programme sorts itself out. If the one team or the other is 6 points or more behind, they can use a tactical substitute. Eastbourne have done that once already tonight with Mark Laram in heat number 8. Maybe they will have to try again to close that gap. I know John Cook concentrating on a bonus point. If they keep the margin tight here and race them down at Arlington, then of the 5 points available for this set of Elite Big B meetings. Remember, they've already raced their A fixtures, would give Eastbourne a slight points margin in the league, perhaps 3 points to 2. But they've done a pretty good job on the tapes. Only got to make sure it goes up properly next time the tapes are repaired. And I'm sure that Ryan Sullivan will look for better next time out.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only thing in Ryan's favour there is that obviously he didn't jump from the start, so his start gate is still in good tack, whereas the others, this stage of the meeting, the starts are getting a bit few and far between. It's going to be difficult to try and find a fresh bit of dirt. So the boys off gate 1 and 2, and sadly Joe off 3, have already used what they felt was the best bit. So I think you'll find them digging around for a few more good spots, and Ryan might have a possible advantage knowing that he's got a good spot of dirt on the outside.
Well, they're checking out the tapes at the moment, and they now seem to be going up okay with the old magnets being released. It's a long while since we've seen them using flags and lights to start the riders, but will Ryan Sullivan be concerned at the restart that it may not happen properly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, Ryan is obviously going to go there 100% focused to make the start. He's off the outside, which at the moment can be quite favourable, but he's come around to the tapes now, just adjusting his clutch, just making sure that everything is perfect when he gets there. But I think the other riders off the inside are possibly playing on them more, because they obviously will, in their own minds, will have felt they've made the best start possible, not knowing that the other 2 hadn't even left the tape. So, but Ryan's still having a little dig around. Maybe he wasn't quite happy with the bit he was going to go off for some reason, but the lineup now, I think the pressure is going to be on Joe here. I mean, Dean's off the inside gate, which is a good gate to have at the moment.
Well, with everybody trying to go wide where the dirt is, Ryan Sullivan, if he doesn't make the gate, will be left a little bit tight for space, but certainly with 2 wins from 2 rides here tonight, he's a man in confident mood. Also his teammate, of course, Peter Protasevich has a maximum 2 wins from 2 rides. Joe Screen, the man in green, the screen machine, the mean machine for Eastbourne. Remember, Ryan Sullivan and Shane Parker, the Aussie pairing from Adelaide, in action for the home team, Peterborough. Again, we're ready. Let's hope the tapes go up properly this time. Up they fly and away they go. Ryan Sullivan doesn't get the best possible start, is left at the back, but does now pick up the grip. Taking him wide is Joe Screen. Real track call from Joe there, but Sullivan comes into 2nd place ahead of Dean Barker. But Joe Screen has stolen the march on Ryan Sullivan, and now Ryan will need speed to catch him. Back in 3rd place is Barker, coming through to pick up 3rd place and take Barker wide. There at the moment in blue is Shane Parker. Another fine ride by him that could have value at the back, but a real battle at the front between 2 top dogs, and Joe Screen at the moment is going to be the first man to beat Ryan Sullivan tonight if it stays like this. But look at the pressure being exerted. Sullivan trying the inside. A real battle between 2 top riders.
Yeah, Joe certainly can't rest here at the moment. He's got Ryan is right close to him. They're both, it's like a drag race at the moment. They're both as quick as one. Now Ryan's going to have a good go up the inside, but Joe's right out in the dirt, knows where he should be.
Yeah, Screen had the grip there. Screen is going to come off the final bench. Sullivan is trying again. Neck and neck. Anybody's race. Here they go. Screen nicks it, but only just in green ahead of Ron Sullivan in red. 3rd place goes to the man in blue, Shane Parker. Another 3-all in that one, and it still remains 6 points between the 2. And that race on the front between those 2 men of dynamite, about the best we've seen this season on Sky Sports. But Joe Screen in the end coming off that final bend, and we see him taking that by just about a length and a half in the end from Ryan Sullivan. And Joe Screen producing his 2nd heat victory of the night, and probably the most memorable one for the Eastbourne team tonight, because it's the first time that Ryan Sullivan has been beaten. Screen the winner for Eastbourne ahead of Ryan Sullivan and Shane Parker. The Aussie pair for Peterborough getting a share of the points at 3-all, and Peterborough still 6 in front at 33-27 with 5 heats to go.
Yeah, Joe made a perfect start there. Ryan's options are very limited off the outside. He's only got the one option, which is to go all the way around, which you can see he's trying to go on the outside of Joe here. And at first I almost thought he was going to make it, but Joe just moved out enough to block him, and Dino's come up on the inside there, which would have been nice. We can see Joe's right out in the dirt, just leg back, and he's taken up long track this year and looks like he's got some good practice in. But you can see Joe's out in front, and you can see here Shane has just got up the inside of Dino, which is a shame because they need all the points they can get. But Shane's having a brilliant night tonight, and it seems we've either got to be right on the very outside or around the curb, and Shane managed to have a good ride around the inside to pick Dean off there to level the scores up 3-all.
Well, with 10 heats gone, it may be 6 points in front for the Peterborough riders. Their fans pretty happy as they go and seek their burgers, coffee and beers. But with 5 heats to come, the speedway action is going to be pretty good. All of that coming to you after the break.
The countdown has begun. One night. 2 movies.
I lost you once. I won't let it happen again.
Infinite action. From the confines of outer space to the end of immortality. Fortress 2, Re-Entry.
They see whatever we see.
And Highlander, Endgame.
Life brings hope and pain.
A Christopher Lambert double bill. Tomorrow from 8 on Sky Movie Max.
The new Seat Ibiza. Feel the passion.
My name is Kevin May, and I left a perfectly good job in London in order to drive around the 48 states of America in 48 days and to write a book about it. People asked me if I was mad. And with the Virgin One account helping me sort out the financial side of things, I just packed my bags and I was off.
The flexibility of the Virgin One account can help you live your life differently. Call us on 08456 00001.
Colin, it's me. What you got? Come and have a look at this. Oh, what a beauty.
That's like yours.
Come and have a look at this. Come on. Look at the body of that.
You lot are sad. Don't you ever grow up?
Yes.
At autotrader.co.uk, you'll find your perfect partner.
Ruining John's shirt, £35. Wrecking Dan's mobile, £69. Massacring Pete's geraniums, £28.
So, who fancies a trip to Japan now?
Being the most popular mate in the world, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. To win a trip for 4 to the FIFA World Cup final, visit mastercard.co.uk.
Away they go! The British Speedway Grand Prix is back.
The track's fantastic.
At the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff.
Really is quite an amazing atmosphere. It's a shame I'm riding, actually. I wouldn't mind being out there watching it.
On Saturday, the 8th of June.
Wow, are we going to race Speedway in here?
Book your hot seat for this year's British Speedway Grand Prix. Call the Ticketmaster hotline 0870 4444 225.
Hello?
They found Lucky!
With pet insurance from More Than, you get up to £500 towards advertising your lost pet. So why accept anything less?
Hello, I've come to pick up Lucky.
Got Lucky there!
Got more than Lucky.
Pet insurance? Don't accept less than More Than. Call 0800 300 901.
Welcome back to Eastbourne. Sorry, I should say welcome back as Eastbourne. At the moment, trailing Peterborough by 33 to 27, and they've got work to do. Kelvin Tatum, you've been watching this very closely, and obviously there's been quite a lot of drama so far. But do you get the feeling that Eastbourne at this stage now will be just sort of starting to think about the rematch back at home at Eastbourne?
I think that's right, Jonathan. I think that these are two-legged affairs, and there's a bonus point at stake. So, with the loss of Steph and Anderson, they really need.
That was a big blow, wasn't it?
It was, because he's been a trump card for them this season so far. So, if they're in a position where they don't go down by too many, if they can't win, they won't be that disappointed, because they're supremely confident at Arlington, and I don't think Peterborough Panthers will be that confident going there. So, I think even if they were to lose by 6 points, it would not be disastrous for Eastbourne, because I'm sure they'd be confident of picking the bonus point up.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's take a look at the other scores that are going on around the country at the moment. As you can see, Kings Lynn struggling. They've made a bit of a comeback, but as you can see, Coventry well ahead, 33 to 15. And in the other two matches after Heat 11, it's the Oxford Cheetahs 36, Bellevue 30. So that's a bit closer, and it's close there between the Poole Pirates 33 and the Wolverhampton Wolves 27. An interesting matchup, that one as well. Now, as we've been mentioning earlier, the Millennium Stadium, the big one for Britain, is coming up, and you've got a chance to win a competition and go there yourselves. Here's how you can do it. You have to answer this question. How many rounds are there in the 2002 Grand Prix Series? You have a chance of receiving a pair of VIP tickets to the British Grand Prix at the Millennium Stadium on June 8th in Cardiff, of course, and the two runners-up will each receive a pair of tickets. And send your answer to this address. It's Millennium Speedway, Sky Sports, Grant Way, Isleworth, Middlesex, TW7 5QD. And just to confirm that address again, it's Millennium Speedway at Sky Sports, Grant Way, Isleworth, Middlesex, TW7 5QD. And you don't want to miss that. If you're not going, get your tickets. It's well worth a visit. It really is a mecca at the moment for Speedway here in Britain, isn't it?
No question about it. The word of mouth since last year has been huge. I think that there's going to be considerably more people there this year. The atmosphere that the Millennium Stadium generates is just huge, and particularly with motorbikes in there and the roof sort of 3 parts closed, it really is quite a special night, and don't miss it. Really, just be there.
Mark Loran will be there, of course, and he's
Sure.
in this next heat. He needs to win this one, doesn't he?
He does. Mark's not quite on top form. I don't think conditions quite suit his style of riding. It might be a touch slick for him, but he won his last ride at a Gate 1, and he looked a bit more impressive there, but he'll need another good start here to hit the front and keep the points rolling in for Eastbourne.
Thanks, Kel. Well, as they come to tapes, I'd just be interested to know, Tony, how Scotty feels about the British Grand Prix coming up.
Well, I think he's got the Polish Grand Prix first, but Scotty, you've got to get through that one, and what about the Millennium after that?
Well, that's it. The Polish one comes up first, which is this weekend, and pretty nervous already. But the Cardiff one, I'm looking forward to. The atmosphere last year was immense, and I'm looking forward to it.
I can tell you, Heat 1 Saturday at Bydgoszcz, Mark Loran and Scott Nichols, and it's Jarek Hampel and Krzysztof Siegelski, 4 talented riders in that one. Millennium Stadium, more on that later. This, though, Heat 11 here at Peterborough tonight. Peterborough on the inside goes Peter Protasiewicz, unbeaten, 2 rides, 2 wins. He's at Bydgoszcz on Saturday. For Eastbourne, Tony Svab carrying an injured knee sustained in Sweden last night in the league match. He goes in Gate 2 in yellow. Chris Harris, the teenager, disappointing night for him so far. 2 duck eggs for his 2 rides for Peterborough on the outside. That's Mark Loran, who won last time out, went in as a tactical substitute. He was racing then with Tony Svab. They need to ride better as a team in this one, but can Mark Loran do it from the inside to squeeze out Protasiewicz, perhaps, Scott?
Yeah, I think Mark is on the outside, and that's where he'd like to be, out chasing the dirt. And there's enough dirt for him to get round if he's in the right place, but Protasiewicz is going to be chasing him all the way, I'm sure.
Going to be tight on that first bend out towards those boards. Away goes the starting marshal. Protasiewicz has got an absolute flyer, and Mark Loran catches back on the inside. Remember, though, Protasiewicz will get the grip and does. Away he goes with the Eastbourne pair in second and third. Mark Loran will have to come inside and get some grip to pick up speed. But again, Protasiewicz has got it right, and he's stretching that lead because he's going where it matters. The Eastbourne pair in second and third. Chris Harris is tailed off. This looks like a 3-all. Protasiewicz won't be caught from there.
No, he's well in front. He's right out as wide as you can get there. Probably too wide, to be honest, but he had a perfect first turn. Mark and Tony are just battling away in second and third, equaling the points, but Protasiewicz there looks brilliant at the moment. He feels very at home. Feels almost like he's in Poland at the moment, I'm sure.
Well, he will be in Poland on Saturday at Bydgoszcz, a track he likes, a track he's familiar with, and certainly Whirling could hardly ride better than he's riding here tonight, because this makes it 3 wins out of 3 with half a lap to go. Moving into second place for Eastbourne there, Tony Svab, Mark Loran back in third. They're going to have a share of the points. It's going to be another 3-all and keep the deficit at 6. And the heat winner in red there, Peter Protasiewicz. Second place in yellow goes to Tony Svab. Mark Loran in green takes third place. Disappointment for Chris Harris at the back. It's now 36-30, the home team in front with still 4 heats to go. Still a glimmer of hope for Eastbourne, but certainly that man in red, Peter Protasiewicz, immaculate. 3 wins, 3 rides here tonight to keep the gap at 6 points. Protasiewicz winning it ahead of Tony Svab of Eastbourne, Mark Loran of Eastbourne. 3 points apiece, 36-30 to Peterborough, appreciated by the fans.
Yeah, Protasiewicz and Ryan look very quick tonight. Protasiewicz is very quick off the start. He made a brilliant first turn there. Went straight for the dirt, which is where he knew he wanted to be, and Mark cut back. Thought he was doing the right thing, which in those circumstances was, but Protasiewicz was just in the dirt and had enough speed to get down the outside. And once he got in front, there was no looking back. He rode exceptionally wide the whole race. He obviously felt very comfortable, felt he could do that. Mark and Tony are just holding on in second and third there, just can do nothing about catching Protasiewicz in front. He looks very good, and he's a long way out, so sadly Chris Harris has tailed right off at the back there, but like I say, they can do nothing about Protasiewicz. On that corner there, he went probably a bit too close to the fence, I think, but he's a brilliant race from Protasiewicz.
Well, the chase is on 2 in the pits. Jana Morogby has found, I hope, Peter Protasiewicz.
Yes, just in time. Peter, you look very confident out there. 3 wins tonight.
Yeah, I like this track. This is nearly the same like Poland. I have problem in the way track because I not so many meeting starts in the small track. But this is why I started this year in England and maybe next year, because I want to learn this small track, this technical track.
So you prefer the big tracks?
I prefer. I learned the big track. Many meetings in Poland, I saw big track. Only 1 year, 98 in the English. It's not so many. I must learn, I must try this track.
Okay, I see you riding on the outside pretty much on all your races. Is that to get the dirt?
Yeah, this is the best line. Is this track. Outside is very grip. Who is in the front, who is first in the outside is win.
Okay, thank you very much. And your English isn't that bad, you know.
When it's easy question, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. Back to Jonathan and Kelvin in the studio.
Thanks very much. An interesting point he makes there. I mean, yeah, sure, you're going for the best line, but noticeably, Eastbourne have actually been taking the inside line most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's probably the nature of the two tracks. You know, Eastbourne is a small, tighter track. The guys are used to riding a smaller, tighter corner, and I think that they're not quite so committed as they went to run for the outside. We saw there in that race, Jonathan, Pepe Potasevich, he actually really aggressively drove off of gate 1 and just headed straight for the outside. And for a moment, it looked like Mark Loram and Tony Swab were actually going to come underneath him because he left a big hole for them, but he knew and he was confident enough with his the advantage, home track advantage, that he was going to get that slingshot round the first corner in the grip on the outside, and so it proved. And to be honest, he really didn't look back.
Still only 6 points in it. Something could happen. A 5-1 could change it
it was
all.
far from disastrous because you know, the guys from Eastbourne packed in for the second and third, and there's 4 heats to go. So you know, Eastbourne have got some class riders coming out, and they're capable of, you know, 1-5-1, and they're right back in this. So this meeting is far from over.
Big night for Pepe, and looking good as he heads towards the Grand Prix.
He is. He's going to Bydgoszcz as a wild card. That is his home track in Poland.
So it could be a big night for him.
Sure, it will be. There'll be a lot of pressure on him also because he's got some big sponsors in Poland, so I'm sure he'll want to do well for those. But he hasn't quite performed in the GP, so this is an opportunity for him to do so.
Well, let's go back to commentary. And Tony, do you reckon they can get a 5-1 here? That's our question here.
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, but Hans Clausen, of course, hasn't had the best of nights so far, and certainly last time out, Magnus Zetterstrom run out of dirt. Joe Screen has hit form. Tony Svab's with him. I just wonder if Svab is struggling a little bit with that knee injury that he's got. There's Trevor Gear helping to fill up the machines with petrol. Trevor, of course, used to be a rider with Eastbourne Eagles many years ago. Methanol, I should say, of course. And Scott Nichols Sparling next to the put petrol in that. All sorts of things would go wrong with it.
I wish it was a bit cheaper.
There you are, never mind. You riders don't worry about the money, do you?
Oh, we do. That's all we worry about.
Heat number 12 coming up. There's that man in green, Joe Screen. Petrol, my dear, oh dear. In yellow and black there, Tony Svab in as a tactical substitute in this one, replacing Savalas Clouting, who's done pretty well tonight. Just got a feeling that maybe we'll see Clouting out perhaps in place of David Norris in heat 14, or who knows, if the 6-point deficit remains, all sorts of things could happen. Coming out of the pits now there in yellow is Tony Svab, the tactical substitute. Joe Screen is already up there. 2 men representing Peterborough are Hans Clausen and Magnus Zetterstrom. Hans Clausen, the current Danish champion, and Magnus Zetterstrom, Zorro, the Swede, has come back to Peterborough after 9 matches for pool this season. Greg Balasek is now back with them. We're talking about the Millennium Stadium, Scott. You looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I am. It's like last year, like I said, the atmosphere and the presentation of it was unbelievable. And like everybody's saying, word of mouth, it's going to be by far better this year. So if anyone hasn't got any tickets there, then I definitely recommend they do, because it's one not to be missed.
Here's the lineup. Hans Clausen on the inside. Tony Svab, gate 2 for Eastbourne in yellow. Magnus Zetterstrom goes gate 3 for Peterborough. On the outside, it's Joe Screen. That's how they line up. I expect you get a few free tickets for your family, don't you, Scott?
Just a couple.
Heat number 12 here, this elite league match. Peterborough lead by 6 points, away to go on the inside. Hans Clausen, a battle there, trying to keep him tight is Tony Svab. Svab does look at Screen coming round the outside. Hits Eastbourne 1 and 2. Could we have the 5-1 that give us a dramatic finish here with the league leaders taking a 5-1 in this one? There's work to do for the Peterborough men, but look at Joe Screen out front. Screen is going where the dirt is. With him too in yellow, there is Tony Svab. Svab holding off the challenge from Hans Clausen. We've got a race on our hands here, Scott.
Oh, we definitely have. That was just a perfect first turn from the Eastbourne pair, and Joe's way out in front, but Tony looks like he's coming under a lot of pressure from Hans Clausen there. He's that could have helped. Hans made a little mistake there, and Tony knows where he needs to be, and if they can hold on here, it's going to bring a finale for the final race.
I don't know about a mistake there. I think it was a marvellous piece of riding by Tony Svab to pick the part of the track that he wanted and edge Clausen out as they go into the final lap. Joe Screen leading by a street. Hans Clausen trying to put the man in yellow under pressure, who's Tony Svab. Svab's going to have to hold him off. Svab looks to be slowing. Is he trying to hold position, going around the outside and pick up grip? Is Clausen? Will he hold it off? It's going to be tight on the line. But Eastbourne do get the 5-1 there, with the rider in green winning that. Joe Screen. Second place goes to Tony Svab. The man in third there. Quite a battle indeed for Hans Clausen in red, but for my money, we see it there with Joe Screen. And the second place, yes, it does, by 3/4 of a bike length, goes to the man in yellow. That's Tony Sparb. That's a 5-1 to Eastbourne. The meeting, as Scott Nichols said, has well and truly come alive now. It's Peterborough 37, Eastbourne 35, with 3 heats to go. And they're going to be 3 pretty special heats. They perhaps battle against the odds. They've lost Stephen Anderson. They've had Tony Sparb battling with an injury, but this man Joe Screen has come good, and Screen and Sparb have taken a maximum 5-1 in that, ahead of Hans Clausen and Magnus Zetterstrom. And now just 2 points in it, with 3 heats to go. With 12 heats gone, Peterborough in front by 2 points at 37-35.
Oh, Eastbourne couldn't have asked for better start there. Screen was on the outside where he likes to be. Right in the dirt, he's had a look for Tony. Tony's rode a good race there, just covered the inside to stop Hans Clausen from getting inside of him. And Joe's just got right on the outside, had another look, and he's just right on the outside, right in the dirt, on the fast line. Like Protasevich said, the only line to be is right out wide. And Joe's just on there and just rode a perfect race. See here, he's made a good start from the outside. He's made a brilliant start across Magnus Zetterstrom there, had a quick look, gone straight for the dirt. The dirt is the place to be. And he's doing good. He's got his wheels in line. Hans Clausen's caught some traction on the inside, had a look, but they can't do anything about it. Perfect 5-1. And there was a good battle going on for second place. You can see Tony there, this is the first lap. Screeny just got on the outside, got well clear, and they looked for a perfect 5-1. Joe's right out wide, looking good. And Tony's up the inside of him. They're perfect. Hans Clausen's trying everything he can in second. Has a real good dive up the inside. Tries as hard as he can to get on the inside, but there's no traction there, and Tony's roared away to a 5-1.
Well, the magical heat 13 coming up. Savalas Clouting is in it for Eastbourne in Stefan Anderson's absence. The Ram is there, but Ryan and Protasevich are going to prove problems. What do you think of that, lads?
Yeah, lucky 13 coming up, but who's it's going to go through? Well, that's going to be very interesting indeed. But this is just what we wanted, everything we wanted. We said it was going to be fireworks tonight, and I think we're about to get them.
Yeah.
But what I'm so impressed with is Eastbourne. They've lost a man. Anderson is out, down, and Tony Sparb is, let's face it, second hand with that knee.
Sure.
But they're still riding out there.
Absolutely, and Tony Sparb's done a fantastic job, because he really has. He's struggling actually to walk along. But as I said earlier, when you drop the clutch and the adrenaline, Mark Lorham actually had 2 races on that brand new bike, and actually has come back onto his original bike, so he's not quite comfortable on the equipment he's got this evening. And there we see, I think that's actually Savalas Clouting we're looking at there, just preparing for this Heat 13. So he's got a lot of responsibility. He is a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. He is quite quick, so he can be a spoiler. But they're up against Protasevich, who's unbeaten, and Ryan Sullivan has only dropped 1 point to Joe Screen. So it's going to be pretty tough, I think, for Savalas Clouting. I think the real responsibility lies on the guy here in green, Mark Lorham. He's got to produce something special here to at least split up the 2 Peterborough riders.
Well, Heat 13 is always so important, but it's going to be massive tonight here at the East England Showground. Let's get down to the commentary once again with Scott Nichols and Tony Millard.
Well, the Peterborough pairing of Peter Protasevich in a blue and Ron Sullivan in a red, as we see there, have dropped just 1 point between them. Protasevich, 3 rides, 3 wins. Ron Sullivan, 3 rides, 2 wins, 1 defeat. And certainly that was a real battle when we saw him beaten in his last race. But, well, Savalas Clouting might struggle here, but he's produced the goods when it's counted here so far tonight, and Mark Lorham could do it again. Mark Lorham is on the inside in green for Eastbourne, as you can see, going as wide as he possibly can from gate 1. Gate 2 is Ron Sullivan, beaten just once, the Aussie from Adelaide, second in the Grand Prix in Norway, and looking ahead to Bydgoszcz in Poland this Saturday. Gate 3, Savalas Clouting for Eastbourne, who has from 3 rides total 6 points per night tonight. His best performance away from home this season, 7. Can he match that tonight? And on the outside, the immaculate Peter Protasevich. A good racing prospect, Heat 13, always a cracker. This looking to be no exception. Down to Mark Lorham in green perhaps. Mark Lorham lifts slightly, gets the edge of limiters. Ron Sullivan holds him into the line. Round the outside in blue, Peter Protasevich goes by 1, goes by 2. Now on the outside of his teammate and goes from last to first. And it's Peterborough in pole position at the moment. And Mark Lorham has a lot of work to do to try and get by or even split these 2. He's trying to do, oh, down to the back. this is crucial as Peter Protasevich goes down. That could turn the meeting on its head because he's not going to count in this one. He's up and off the track. Eastbourne get at least a 3-all from this if they stay on their feet. Mark Loran will try to take on and beat Ron Sullivan, but at 3-all, we go into the final 2 heats with a difference of just 2, and anything can happen here, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be real pleased. That was real unfortunate, but going to Eastbourne, they'll be happy to take the lead they've got. And Ryan Sullivan just pulling away, but Mark Lorham's in second place. Ryan's looking good, but there's not the emphasis on it now with Protasevich going out there. Very unfortunate for him.
Checkered flag approaches. Ron Sullivan is going to get his 3rd heat win out of 4 here tonight, and does, ahead of Mark Loran. And in the end, still going at only just to Savalas Clouting, but when he takes the checkered flag, he will equal his best away performance of the season. A mighty important point, albeit by the demise of Peter Protasevich on that bend when he took it wide and went into the fence. The lads were saying earlier on, well, they could go too wide. He certainly did here, but Ron Sullivan, the heat winner, a 3-all in that one, makes it 40-38 as we go into the final 2 heats in favour of the home team, Peterborough. What a meeting we have on our hands here with that scoreline. Sullivan winning it ahead of Mark Loran and Savalas Clouting. A retirement for Peter Protasevich after that tumble on the entrance to lap 3.
Yeah, the first turn worked out perfect for Peterborough. Ryan made a perfect start off gate 2, got across Mark and stopped him from getting a run. And Protasevich was just right out in the dirt where he said he liked to be, and met up with his teammate down the back straight for looked as though they're set for a 5-1. Mark is on the inside. The track is getting slick now, so it's going to be difficult to pass. But I think Ryan possibly thought it was Mark trying to go around the outside and left Protasevich with not a lot of room. So Protasevich is early on. He's coming down the back straight. You can see here he's not got a lot of room there and just ran out of track. The dirt has pulled him in and he's had no option but to lay the bike down, and he's lucky to get away with not being hurt there. But sadly for Protasevich, but brilliant for us. Ryan Sullivan, perfect 3 out of 4 races and looking very good, very fast, and showing his domination and his experience around the Peterborough track.
Well, we've certainly got a pretty important 2 heats still coming up, and well, the busy activity in the pit shows just what the riders feel about this. Just about the best meeting we've seen in the Elite League this season. 2 points in it going into the final 2 races here. And that man in the red helmet colours there is Sam Taysar. And, well, there's the lineup coming up for Heat 14. Magnus Zetterstrom is the change. He's replacing Chris Harris for Peterborough here to race alongside Sam Taysar. And Savalas Clouting has come in for David Norris as the Eastbourne reserve, the more impressive of the 2 reserves alongside Dean Barker. So 2 changes in the lineup here tonight, and certainly both crucial reserves swapping over here as we go into Heat 14. Interesting changes made by both teams, Scott Nichols.
Yeah, I think on the night they've both changed with a stronger reserve, with Savalas Clouting's having a good night. I just hope there wasn't a serious problem with his machine in that last race. And Magnus Zetterstrom is having a good race here. And with Magnus going to be coming off the inside gate, he'll like that because he likes the inside. So it's going to be a tough race. I mean, there's going to be pressure on. The pressure is off the big boys in this one at the moment, and it's down to the second strings to try and pull some good races out of the hat, and I'm sure Peterborough will be putting a lot of pressure on Sam Taysar in this one.
Well, we see the record of Magnus Zetterstrom there, of course, 2 points apiece in each of his first 2 rides, but then failing to score in his last 2, excluded in one of them, and finishing last, of course. He, remember, is clattering into the fence in his 3rd ride. Sam Taysar is his teammate. Taysar has won a heat tonight in his 2nd ride. Dean Barker is the man in green going for Eastbourne. We look down that list looking apprehensive. The brother-in-law of Martin Dugard. There's Barker's record, not his best night so far for Dean Barker. He got 3rd place first time out, 3rd behind his teammate, and certainly a last place last time out. Well, there's the man in red already and takes his Sam Taysar. And if I was a betting man, I think Sam Taysar might be tipped as a winner here, wouldn't you, on that record tonight, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. Sam, like I say, he's rode here for a number of years and he's got a lot of experience in the track, and he goes well and he's a hard person to pass. I know that from experience. So, but I think if with Savalas off the outside, he's not generally an outside rider, but if he can make the start, then he will get in the dirt and get in front.
Scott, I tell you what, with Savalas Clouting, there is best away performance of the season. That's 7 points for Savalas Clouting. But I'm looking forward to Heat 15 because I'll have a little bet with you. It's Ron Sullivan, Peter Protasevich, Mark Loran and Joe Screen, don't you think?
Oh, definitely will be, and that's a GPA final in my book almost. So Yeah, just it's good to see Savalas having a good time though. Just a shame he couldn't have done for us at Ipswich, but yeah, he's having a good time, and I'm glad to see him doing well. But it's going to be a tough race.
Well, there is Dean Barker on his way to tapes for Ipswich. 350 meetings for Eastbourne. This is number 351 tonight for Dean Barker. Savalas clouting. Well, he until now has raced just 14 meetings for Eastbourne, but certainly doing better than he did last season at Ipswich. But problems there indeed for Savalas clouting. We saw problems with his bike last time out. I don't know if he's changed the machine or not, but at the moment this one won't start. It has now.
Yeah, hopefully he hasn't. Like I say, I see him slow up in the last race there, so hopefully whatever problems they did have is eliminated now and can come out and have a good race for him. Whatever happens is going to be a crucial heat 15.
Well, there he is, and look at the back of his leathers as he comes around there. It says, adios amigo. Well, he's got to be in front for them to see that, hasn't he?
He has. He's had that for a number of years. He's had that since he was a child, so...
Last season, he probably should have had it on the front, shouldn't he?
No
8.14, he's going well and playing his part for his team. There's the lineup. Magnus Zetterstrom in blue, gate 2, Dean Barker for Eastbourne. Sam Taysar for Peterborough goes through gate 3 on the outside. That's Savalas clouting. That's the lineup. 8.14, there's someone to go. Whatever happens now, well, will we go all the way to the last heat? A 5-1 would be enough to seal it here in this one for Peterborough, but Eastbourne won't want to see that happen. This is heat number 14. Peterborough get a 5-1. They are certain of victory here tonight. Any other scoreline takes it really on to the final race. What a meeting here at the East of England Showground. Digging for victory. I wonder if that is the case for Savalas clouting.
Yeah, he's off the outside gate and he knows the emphasis is to at least get in the first corner level so that he can get into the dirt on the outside, because it looks very slick on the inside, so see what he can do.
An important heat, this one, heat 14. Not exactly first-string riders, but nevertheless, their points count the same. Away they go. Good start by Team Barker in green, but an even better one for the man in blue, Magnus Zetterstrom. Now picking up on the outside is Sam Taysar, but Barker going through, has to hold off Taysar. Barker's got to do it. Clouting's in second place. Clouting is going wide. The challenge is on, but look at this line abreast here. And now, if Peterborough hold it like this, they will win the meeting here tonight. And well, the final heat will only be really to make sure Eastbourne staying on course for the bonus point. But Peterborough winning this now. The man in blue out front, Magnus Zetterstrom. Second place is Sam Taysar in red. Third for Eastbourne, Dean Barker. At the rear is Savalas clouting, but Eastbourne men are not done yet.
Yeah, I think Sam Taysar in second place here. His experience will probably see him through. The track is getting slick now. Dean's having a real good go on the outside there, but I don't think there's quite enough dirt to get round.
Into the last lap they go. Barker will now try the inside. He may go by there, but look at the grip being picked up again by Sam Taysar. And now it looks as if the Eastbourne challenge is done. And Peterborough with a 5-1 here would be cert winners. What a fantastic meeting. But there it is. Zorro takes the checkered flag in blue. In second place in red, it's Sam Taysar. Third in green for Eastbourne is Dean Barker. The 5-1 for Peterborough in that one is enough to make it 45-39. Eastbourne can't catch them. Peterborough have won, but, well, Zorro promised us a dance. We're going to get it. He's banged to the crowd, and I'm sure we're going to get the real attraction here. We saw him at Wimborne Road for Paul. We've seen him here, and Magnus Zetterstrom, well, he promised us early on he would do it. But the fans don't worry about that at the moment. The effort of Magnus Zetterstrom and Sam Taysar. Here we are with Magnus Zetterstrom. He's getting the crowd going, look, and we're going to see it. Look at this, Scott Nichols.
Well, he looks like a dancing queen, but he deserved it in that one. He had a good race there, and all Peterborough's hopes rested on him, and him and Sam Taysar just got off to a 5-1 there and sealed the match for him.
Well, dancing queen was ABBA. They come from Sweden, and so too does this man, Magnus Zetterstrom. 5-1 there. 45-39. Magnus Zetterstrom ahead of Sam Taysar and Dean Barker. The result is already determined. Still a heat to go. And the meeting, well, what a meeting we're having. In the studio, Kelvin Tatum and Jonathan Green.
Here we go.
I haven't got it yet.
I just can't do it.
I like the rig. I like the rig wave at the end too.
Right.
But what a heat! Fantastic. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, it was a super ride, and I feel pleased for Magnus Zetterstrom. He's started the meeting sort of well, and then he went off the ball a bit. And then to come back and win that race was superb. And 5-1 to Peterborough, and they've done well. They've clinched the meeting in that heat. But all credit also to Eastbourne, because they've kept them up to their work, and it could have gone either way.
Yeah, we've still got another heat yet, and we were hoping that this would happen, but what a great night of Speedway it's been.
Fantastic, you know, it's ebbed and flowed all the way through. It looked like for a moment when Stefan Anderson got injured that Peterborough might just run away with it, but they haven't done. You know, they had that nice 5-1 Eastbourne, and that got them right back into it. I think Joe Screen's ridden superbly this evening. He was the only one to beat Ryan Sullivan. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can see that showdown again actually in Heat 15, because I'm sure Ryan will want to put one over him again.
Well, I think it's going to be like a Grand Prix final. Let's find out who's riding it with the team manager, Jane.
Yeah, Jim's here with the coin poised. Are you ready to toss?
I am.
And call, please, Ollie.
Okay.
Which one?
Heads.
Heads. And it's tails. Jim.
Can I just consult with my riders? Where's Ryan? Sullivan? Won the toss. What do you want?
2 and 4.
You're the captain. 1 or 3, 2 or 4. Oh dear, there we go. Just
having a little
on the television. Yeah.
But you've won tonight, haven't you? So you must be pleased with the victory.
Absolutely, yes. And I mean, fair play to Eastbourne. They are a great side, and they kept it very, very close when you consider they've got a couple of riders and Stefan getting injured. You know, I think you've done very well.
Oh, we've got Just String in the background.
1 and 3.
1 and 3.
1 and 3, yeah.
And all you're putting in?
Hang on a second. Ryan, what are you going off? Sullivan. Ryan. 1. It's great now. I don't know what Zetterstrom's doing in amongst that lot. Trouble is he wins one race and he gives everybody advice now.
We've got a team minute. Can we talk to you, Ollie? What's going on with you?
Yeah. We got Screaming Joe Screen on gate 2 and Mark on gate 4.
Okay. Are you happy with those gates?
Not really, no. 1 and 3. But what can you do, you know? Wasn't our night, but we gave a good fight.
Okay. You've had a bit of bad luck, haven't you, with the injuries?
Yeah, well, so Speedway.
That's Speedway?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just hope that Steph is all right for tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
But we'll see. We'll see later.
Okay, thank you very much. Protasevich and Ryan, is that right?
Yes, yeah, Sullivan and 1 and Protasevich, and I mean, it's obvious choice, and they're 2 great riders, and they've rode really well tonight, you know, so they're the first choice.
Okay, thank you very much. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Jane. Yeah, we've seen a change of guard there. I've never seen Jim Lynch give up the whole operation to Ryan Sullivan like that. We can see who's running the team now.
Exactly, but I think that's the lineup we expected. Jonathan, Joe Screen, Mark Loram and Protasevich and Sullivan. So this is a real classy heat. This is a GP heat, as we've mentioned before. I think from the point of view of Eastbourne, I'm sure Joe Screen would love to win Heat 15, and the promotion at Eastbourne would want to try and keep it as close as possible because of that return leg.
What have Eastbourne got to do from 2 and 4? Obviously, they were disappointed with getting those gates, but what have they got to do now in terms of T-riding and in terms of trying to,
Well, what they desperately they need Joe Screen to make the gate off of gate 2 so that he can clamp Ryan Sullivan down on the inside line there with the white line, and that will allow Mark Loram to actually run right round the outside. But I've got a sneaking suspicion that Mark doesn't seem to quite have the pace tonight.
Yeah, Mark's not looked on it all night, and that's a shame. I'd like him to finish on a high, especially with the Grand Prix coming up.
Sure, yeah, he'd want that too, and I think that he'll be doing his utmost to do that. But I think Protasevich has really looked fast. To be honest, he looks like that he's had the pace of everybody tonight, and it's going to be difficult for Mark. But I still think that Joe Screen and Ryan Sullivan, I think that showdown really is a bit of needle there. Ryan doesn't like dropping points here to anybody.
You've said in the past that you don't think, and one of the problems Mark's had in the past is his engines weren't quick enough. Do you still feel that's the case this season as we head towards another Grand Prix?
I don't want to be too outspoken on that subject, to be honest, because obviously they do the best and they obviously use the people that they feel is best, but there have been times when it looks and it appears that Mark either doesn't have quite the right setup or he's underpowered, and it's difficult to put your finger on that entirely, but certainly tonight I would suggest that the setup of the bike hasn't been quite right.
He's been doing a lot of changes.
He has been doing it because he's been jumping off one bike and onto another, so it's probably not the case of lack of horsepower, it's purely been he hasn't been quite able to dial his bike into this slick surface here tonight.
Well, Ryan Sullivan has been superb tonight. Let's wonder if he can go one better at the Grand Prix. Got second last time out, and on Saturday he goes for gold. Let's find out what happens though in this Heat 15. Let's join Scott and Tony for the last heat.
Ryan Sullivan, the record point scorer, career point scorer for Peterborough, dropped only 4 points in 6 home meetings. He goes on the inside in red. Gate 2, Joe Screen for Eastbourne, lightly wild card. the Millennium Stadium for the British Grand Prix. Peter Protasevich, a fabulous night for him, bar the fall last time out when he went just too wide. And Mark Laram, the 2000 world champion, goes from the outside for Eastbourne in yellow. As somebody said before, this is like an A final in a Grand Prix. Well, Joe Screen's not there in Bydgoszcz, but the other three are this weekend. Ryan Sullivan second in Norway. Peter Protasevich, a wild card. Mark Laram ninth last time out. Goes in red first heat this Saturday with the man alongside me, Scott Nichols. Can Mark Laram win this, Scott?
I think so. He seems to be unsettled with these bikes, but hopefully he can get it dialed here and the outside gate in the dirt. See if he can make a good one.
Away they go, line abreast here, four top riders, but on the inside, almost on the grass, goes Ryan Sullivan in green. Almost two wheels on the grass, I have to say, because Mark Laram kept him tight, but Mark Laram and Joe Screen there. Mark Laram goes wide, coming through into second place now. A brilliant ride from Protasevich, and now the Eastbourne men have work to do. A bit of needle, Screen goes into him, Screen tries to take him wide. The grip in favour of Protasevich, who picks it up into second place. Ryan Sullivan out front has it all to himself, and this is going to be a second successive 5-1 to the home side. It doesn't reflect really the match, but will make it 50-40 in the end, a 10-point advantage. But there they go, Sullivan and Protasevich, a big night for them.
Yeah, brilliant battle there in second place between Joe and Protasevich. Ryan's got a massive lead out in front now. He's just stretching away, and all seems to have settled down a little bit now, which is a shame, but it's a fantastic night's race and then looking good at the end.
Down the back straight, half a lap to go. Ryan Sullivan, a fabulous night for him. This will take him on to a fabulous 14 points from 5 rides. Second place in blue to Peter Protasevich, who's done pretty well as well. For Eastbourne in third place, Joe Screen. In fourth place, Mark Laram. Disappointment for him. But in the end, the 5-1 for Peterborough makes it 50 points to 40. A margin that we didn't think would happen because it was close until the end. But the final two heats have really pulled the stroke and the points for the home side. And Eastbourne, for the bonus point, will have to pick up 10 points when they go down to Arlington's. 50-40 here. The final score, a fabulous meeting in this one. And the salute by Ryan Sullivan shows you just what the Peterborough fans could cheer, just what we might expect in Bydgoszcz on Saturday. The fans are delighted with the final result here of that heat. Ryan Sullivan ahead of Peter Protasevich, Joe Screen and Mark Laram. 50-40 in favour of Peterborough. Have you caught your breath, Kelvin Tatum and Jonathan Green?
Now he enjoyed every minute of that, and I just wonder now, Ryan Sullivan, the perfect night. Can he go now one better after second in Norway and maybe win in Poland?
I don't think there's any question about that. I think the answer to that is yes, he can. He's on top form, his bikes are flying, and he's more than capable of winning an A final now.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. You can find out on Saturday night. Join us for it. It starts at 6 p.m. on Sky Sports 3. It's the Polish Grand Prix, round 2 of the championship. You don't want to miss it. It's one of the riders' favourites. And don't forget, of course, next week in the Elite League, it's Kings Lynn in action. They're struggling at the moment, and look who they've got to ride against. Eastbourne. It's on Sky Sports 1 next week at 8 p.m. Join us for that. My thanks to Kelvin Tatum and Scotty Nichols and Tony Millard. We'll be back next week, but don't forget that Grand Prix. Until then, bye-bye.